Well, when it comes to using your body in order to make money, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just a part of the entertainment industry that's always been there, that will always be there. Um, I don't judge him for that. I've
Yeah.
met people. I feel like a couple years ago, I would have I met people that I knew that were in porn, or people that were friends of people that were in porn, and I kind of thought that was kind of like grimy and gross. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can't you can't throw rocks at glass houses or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, who are we to sit up here and tell one person how to live their life and another person not to, or vice versa?
Well,
It's
also,
I can't.
if you're watching porn and you're judging porn stars, then you're a hypocrite, in my opinion.
Right. It's yeah, exactly. And essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say is somebody that lives in a quote unquote alternative lifestyle,
Yeah.
who are you to judge another person? You know what I mean? Like, that's not we're not here to judge other people based on what they're doing. As long as it's legal and they're not hurting themselves or other people, I don't really care what you do with your
Well, it's
life.
not legal. It's not
Well,
legal.
I'm not saying the escorting. I'm saying the
Oh, the
porn
porn
the
part.
porn
Oh,
part.
okay. Well, what about the
Alicia,
escorting
the
part?
escort part. You know what? The escort part. It's a little shaky for me, because they'll tell you up and down they're massage therapists,
Yeah.
that they're just they give you the boyfriend experience. But I've never been on a date with an escort. I've never been an
I
escort,
haven't
so I
either.
can tell you what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But this is
It's
what
not
my
my
feeling
business.
about this is, though, because you're saying on the one hand the pornography's fine and you're okay with it, but the escorting you're
Yeah.
not. And what I've always said about porn versus prostitution, it's for me the difference. There is no difference, because the only difference is that you
Right.
have a camera in the room versus not. You're
Right.
both people are getting
Right.
paid. Both people are getting paid to have sex, and in one instance you're broadcasting that to the world, and the other one it's between two private people. So I've never understood the difference between someone who's escorting, as they call it, versus someone
Right.
who's who's a porn star. Excuse me. What's the
Right.
difference?
Yeah,
Really,
actually remember you saying that, because when you had said that, I think that was like one of our first shows.
probably.
And when you had said that, that like struck a light with me, because it's like, that is actually really fucking true.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't think of them in that same way, because society has maybe conditioned you to think that porn is fine, but prostitution is not. But I guess when I think of prostitution, I think of more so like the pimping part of it, and the drug use or physical abuse that is synonymous with prostitution.
Both industries have exactly the same thing. It's the pimp in this case is the producer, and
Yeah.
the drugs are there. Trust me, there are drugs there and all that shit and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else. So it's all the same. It's the same thing, because at the end of the day, they're all doing the same thing. That's why the industries, whether you're a prostitute or whether you're a porn star, they have the same problems with drugs or whatever. Or
Right.
pimps, as you call them, whatever. So anyway, I never understood. Jason, you've been very quiet. What do you think about all this?
Okay, so here's my thing.
Yes.
So first, I'm trying to figure out why this is newsworthy, and then second of all, I mean, I guess it's okay. I mean, if he wants to leave a job being a news anchor or a reporter, or whatever the fuck he was doing, and go into gay porn, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
But it's just the transition that kind of bothers me. It's like you were somewhat successful being a reporter. I guess you say you were unlikable, but I'm like, if you're already reporting, you've been doing this for a while, couldn't you just move to another city or move to another market or something like that? It's just like you get fired or you quit because the network says they don't like you, so you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go into porn.
So
Like,
Right,
I
but
don't.
maybe Right, but you have to think like maybe that didn't fulfill him anymore. Maybe he had gotten to the point where like that didn't make him happy. One of my friends, actually, we were talking about this the other day, because her mom used to own a housekeeping company, and so she would oversee all the maids, and make sure they all got to where they were going, and made sure everybody was taken care of. And that was her business for many, many years. And before she had her kids, she always wanted to be a radio host, and she's just now going to school to be a radio host, and she's in her 60s. So I think that for me, maybe for him,
But see,
maybe
that's
that
this
it
more
may be
mainstream job.
liberating, or
But that's a mainstream job. She's not going into porn.
Why does it matter what it is, though? You just have a problem with porn.
No, I don't have a problem with it. I watch porn all the time. It's just I just don't see the transition of going from TV reporter.
You're saying it's drastic.
Yeah, it's like it's a drastic change. Like you couldn't find something else before you got to that.
Well, why?
I mean, it's your body. You can do what you want. You know.
But why do you think porn is such a huge leap from someone going and being a go-go boy, or you know what I mean, or anything else in that industry? Yeah. Why is it such a huge leap? It's the same thing. You're still selling sex. It's just one you don't get touched, and the other one you do. But you know what I mean. So
but a lot of people who are like go-go dance and stuff like that, they don't do it as their only job. I mean,
why does that matter? I don't understand your logic, boy. Don't understand your logic.
No, but I'm just saying, like a lot of go-go. Okay, I don't know any go-go dancers that go and dance for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, but go-go dancers make like $30. Porn stars make a lot of money. They don't. That's their full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and escorts or whatever. Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's just a drastic change. I mean, I've been broke plenty of days.
Well, let's look at it this way.
I've been unemployed quite a bit.
I've not even about that, Jason.
No,
but
it may not even be
I've never ever thought about be like,
but
you know what? I think I'm gonna just sign up for porn and just start doing. No, I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
that's you though. That's not him. So maybe he was always a very sexual being. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That may be true. I'm just saying. You asked for my opinion, and I'm just saying that I just personally do not see the drastic change.
Typical white lady Trump excuse. That's just my opinion.
I mean, well, it is. You asked me for my opinion, so I gave it to you. So it's just like I just don't see the drastic change. That's all I'm saying. It's like, listen, if he wants to do porn, fuck till you can't fuck no more. Fuck until your asshole falls out for all I care. But all I'm saying is, I just don't see the drastic change. If he's a sexual being and he wants to do it, fine. I'm just saying that I just do not understand the drastic change. That's all I was saying. So, I mean, there are plenty of people.
But you sound and it's okay if you feel this way. It's totally okay however you feel. If you feel whatever you feel about it, it's totally fine. You're allowed to feel how you feel, and that's fine. What I'm trying to say is,
I mean, like I said, I like porn. I watch it.
What I'm trying to say is, Jason, though, what I'm trying to say is that you sound judgy about it, is what I'm saying. That's the distinction I have about it. So
I'm not being judgy. I don't understand the drastic transition.
You're just okay. So he should have done what then? You think he should have just stayed in what he was doing, even though he didn't?
But no, here's my thing. For him to become a TV reporter, I'm sure he went to school, he went to college, graduated. I just feel like for you to do all of that, spend all that money on tuition, do all of that, only to do TV reporting for however fucking long you did it. I don't know. I really don't care. But it's like, throw all that money away that you invested to go to school to become a porn star. You could have done that from the get-go. That's just the way I look at it.
But there are lots of porn stars and escorts, male escorts, whatever, whatever you call them, that are very highly intelligent. There are porn stars that actually, I can't remember what his name is, Igor or some shit, I can't remember, but he was like a fucking rocket scientist, literally worked for some aeronautical place, whatever it's called, and aerospace place, yeah. And he was a fucking rocket scientist that actually did all the fucking calculations, all that bullshit. He fucking smart as fuck. And he got into porn and just quit his job and became a major porn star. So I'm just saying that there are people who are incredibly intelligent, incredibly successful, who for some reason, whatever that might be, whether they love it more, it's more fun, they just are sexually free, or just the money's really good, they decide to go into porn. So I'm not saying it's a huge leap for anyone, whatever they were doing, whether he was an anchor or a rocket scientist or, a maid, whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. It just is what it is. But okay, I get your point.
Well, and to me, like, I think of it, on the flip side as well. Like, think about all the porn stars that start out in porn and then end up being, news anchors, or they go to work
the other
for
way
churches
around.
or volunteer work, or that's a drastic change too. Right. So it's just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just jumping all over Jason. I know, but I'm sorry, but I just, sometimes I don't get your logic. That's okay.
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
or get the point you're making is the word I'm trying to say.
He's already in the gay porn industry. Yeah, so more power to him. But I just don't get it. But,
so if you were down on your luck and you could not make your rent and you could
And
not
somebody
make your
was
car
like,
payment.
I'll give you $300 to make a jack off video.
Yeah, you would
You
say
wouldn't do it?
no, enough money to pay your rent.
Doesn't need to be in it.
Enough money to pay your rent. Then would you do it?
No.
And your face doesn't have to. I'd do it. Fuck that.
If you were gonna be homeless, if you didn't do it, you were gonna without a car, without a home.
It's more than just trying to get your rent paid. It's more of
Jason has morals, okay?
It's more of people looking at you in the wrong. I don't know. Let's just move on. I don't care. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
But to answer your question, because you did ask the question and I didn't answer it. I don't think Jason answered it either. About his age, about being 40-some odd years old in the porn industry. I think that's just fine because I like watching porn videos with older men in them. So
yes, exactly.
I'm gonna go Google that as soon as the show is over.
And
watch
it's funny.
I mean, I don't care about his age. I just had a problem with the transition. That was
itself.
The only thing.
Well, I think that it's fine too, and it's interesting because I know when I was young, when I was like your age, Christian, when I was young, I was into older guys. Like I've told you before, I've always been into older guys. And so, so when I was young, it was seemed like, I don't know, it wasn't seen anything, I guess. But nowadays, for some reason, it seems far more acceptable. I mean, you have like daddy video, you know what I mean? You have all kinds of videos about that kind of stuff. Yes, exactly. Stuff like that. And so now it's the thing now. It's like, you've got bears and you've got all kinds of groups of people. But I'm saying that you have these older men who now are seen just as hot in a lot of ways as the younger ones. It just depends on what you like, And so I think he came into this industry at the perfect time. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I think you're right. All right. Oh, yes. Do you know who Peter Theil is, you guys? No. He's one of the founders of PayPal, and he is an out gay man. And he's a billionaire, of course. He's got a ton of money, of course. And he is supporting Donald Trump for president. And he just gave his campaign $1.25 million. And I'm always confounded by gay men who, do this. We talked about this a couple weeks ago too, but do this sort of, thing against their own best interest, whatever. And as I said on the previous show, obviously he's a very wealthy man. He wants to stay that way. Therefore, he cares more about money than he does social rights. So, would this someone who, I guess my question was going to be this: if someone like this from another company, for example, I'm a boycotter. I always boycott. Like it makes any fucking difference. I do it anyway.
Right. No, me too. I was literally going through my head like, I guess I'm going to have to disconnect myself.
So that's what I'm saying. So I, no more PayPal. And I don't go to Chick-fil-A, and I don't, all these places like ExxonMobil because they're anti-gay, their policies or whatever. So, are you guys boycotters, or is that something you think makes a difference at all?
I do, but especially with big companies like this that are just fucking everywhere,
right?
It's so hard. But I do like when the Chick-fil-A thing was going on. I did boycott the Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to think of places off the top of my head that I don't go to. I can't think of anything right now, but do I think it makes a difference? No.
Yeah.
Not for the most
part. But it does make
a
difference to you personally, morally, I think. When
you know what I mean? Makes you feel better.
Right. Even if it doesn't do anything
to them. Does my $60 annually really affect it that much?
Right.
But does my craving for these chicken nuggets still kick in?
Yes. Jason, what about you? Jason.
I don't want to comment.
Why not? This is a fucking talk show, so talk, bitch.
No, because it seems like every time I do and I have an opinion something different from someone else's, and everyone's like,
oh my God.
So now you feel attacked.
I'd rather just not comment.
So now you feel attacked because we disagree with you on one issue.
Okay, Raven Simone.
I'm just saying. It's like,
if you're not going to talk, there's no point in doing the show. Let's just not do the show. Because, I mean, seriously, what's the fucking point if you're not going to talk? So talk.
Well, I told you my point, but...
About what? You're talking about Jim Walker still? I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Chick-fil-A and all that stuff, boycotting and stuff.
Well, I had something different to say about that, but I'm pretty sure
say it. Wait, let me just say something. Let me say something before you continue. This whole thing is about expressing opinions and different viewpoints. And so it's okay. It doesn't mean that we're going to agree or I'm going to agree with Christian or I'm going to agree with you or vice versa. We aren't always going to agree on everything, which is what makes the show interesting, I think. So please feel free to share. I know I can be a lot. I know I can be like a bitch about things. So I'll try to be nice.
Honestly, after the previous conversation, I didn't even hear that question, so you have to repeat it.
I asked, like, boycotting. Do you think boycotting places that are anti-gay or whatever, does it make any difference? Do you boycott places? Would you boycott